thank you for purchasing the product video listing Shopify section by qwiqode. In this video, I'll be showing you how to actually use it. So if you haven't installed it yet, please refer to the separate video included in the package, and you also have access to a PDF with instructions. So to get started, head over to your theme editor, navigate to the page you want to add the section to, then over on the left, click on Add Section, and search for the section you want, add it in. And here we go. It's located right over here. Let's just hide that so it doesn't get in the way. Now get ready. There's a lot of settings that you can adjust here. So over on the left side is basically where we put in different content. We have the main section with options over here, and then we have two blocks over on the left, which is section header. You can add in, section title. We'll get to that in a second, and a button right over there. We can get to that a little bit afterwards, but let's just say the section header, you have a title and you have a section block, so you can describe the product collection right over here. We can get in. We'll get into all the styling settings in a moment. So clicking on the main section over on the left side, going over to the right side, the first thing we can do is choose the collection you want to show. So let's select collection and choose the collection. There you go. Now to set this up, what you need to do is in the product page in the admin, like for each product that you want to display in this collection, you should have a video, an MP4 video, not a YouTube video, that is uploaded into the image gallery, and as well as an image for the cover image. As you can see over here, there's a cover image, and then you have the video. The place of the position of the video isn't really important within the gallery itself. It could be anywhere, it doesn't matter which order it is. It will take, if you have multiple videos, it will take the first video. But you should have an image as the main media type in each product, so that it knows which cover image to use right over there. So once that's set up, we have the images here. We selected the collection, and we'll just go one by one. So we have a show product button, which is this button right over here. We can hide that. Sorry for the little delay there. If you don't want it, but usually we do have a show product button, and you can change the label. Instead of shop now, you can do whatever you want. Next, we have carousel settings. So we have an option here to show, right here, we have 4 different visible products. You can change that if you want to have 3, minimum of 2 in the size, or you can go all the way up to 6, just like that. So let's just keep it at 4 right now, just makes it easier. Have an option to advance the click. So right now the default is to advance one by one, but you can choose that, and then it'll advance by the number of the slides to show. So you could advance it, so to speak, like by a page. You could set autoplay, and then over here you have the speed. So you can choose 4 seconds, 2 seconds, and so on. Overflow of items. As you can see, there's an overflow here of the products over on the edges. So it kind of hints that there are more coming along, but you can turn that off. And as you can see, so we're cleaning, and we don't see anything in the overflow of them. Next, we can adjust the space between the slides, which is like right over here, so we can adjust and make them much bigger, much smaller, and so on. We have the same setting for mobile. Moving on, we have the play button that appears as a default. So you can choose not to show the play button, of course, and then just it'll appear that way, or have it appear. And we can change the colors. So let's say we want to play the play icon to be black and the background to be gray, like that. And then we can also adjust the opacity of that background of the circle itself if we'd like. Let's keep this as white, just like that. You also have an option to upload your own play icon as an image, preferably with a as a PNG with a transparent background, or you can upload an SVG icon through settings files in the admin itself, and then paste the path to it right over here, and it'll replace it. You can adjust the size of the play button. Next, we have the carousel arrows, which are the arrows to the right and to the left over here. So it's the same idea with the play icon. We can adjust the color of the line and the background. So we could just do something like that and like that if we wish. We have a distance from the edge. So we have two settings here actually. The position of the arrows, which is inside the wrapper meaning this entire area. So if we have it positioned within it and we enlarge the space, then it goes further in. But if we choose to do it outside, and this depends how much padding we have, depending on the layout that you want to choose, and we'll get to padding later. But we can do it outside of it and then adjust the spacing there. So if you want it just right outside, you could do something like that. Next, we have the option, just like with the arrows, you can upload your own arrow or your own arrow image or SVG, pasting the path of this SVG here, since we can't upload SVGs into this area. Moving on, we have the carousel grid toggle. So this is this toggle right over here. Clicking on that actually breaks apart the carousel and creates a grid. So we can adjust the text that appears here. And later on, we can also adjust a little bit the spacing and move this a little bit up. We'll get down there in a minute. Grid settings. So when this is in a grid, we have an option to have 3, 2, or 4 in each grid. So as you can see, like that. Next, we have the gap, the horizontal gap and vertical gap. So we can create more space between and more space between them, between each row, like so. And we have the same options for mobile, but mobile we only allow either 1 or 2 to be shown, since it'll get cramped anyway. So here we have showing just 1, or we have 2. Where's the expand button? There we go. Just like that. Next, we have the settings for pop-up. So you have one option where you're hovering over on desktop, of course, and the video plays. But if you click on the video, then you can view it in enlarged mode, and then you have this pop-up that you can adjust the styling to. And we added this preview pop-up so that you can click on it and it'll always be open, so that you can go in and edit everything. So we have a background here, so you can adjust the background of this area here. So if we want to have it black, but we'd like more opacity, you can do something like that, or have it completely black or almost complete black, or whatever color you choose. We have the close button up here in the right corner, and here we can choose the color, just like that. Next, we can adjust the width and the height by percentage in the screen. So we can lower it down to have it be small or full width, just like that. Moving on, we have the pop-up holder, which is this basic holder right over here. We can adjust the background of it. So let's say we'd like it to be gray. The border can have it blue, whatever colors fit. We'll just keep that as white, and we'll put the background as white as well, or slightly gray. We could adjust the border width. So if we enlarge that, it becomes a bigger frame. And the border radius, if you notice there's a slight border radius there, do something like that. We can have no radius at all, like so. Next, we have the description padding. So if we want more space above and below and to the sides, we can do that. We can choose to do that, and same thing for the mobile. Next, we have a few different options for the location of the title, the price, and the button. So right now it's centered, but we can also choose it to be reversed, like so, or edges where they're basically the title's on the left, the button's on the right, and of course we can flip that around as well. Moving on, title styling. So here we can choose to also hide the product title if we want. I assume that you'd want to have that there, and you can choose the color of the title. You can select a custom font by checking the box off and selecting the font that you want to appear. Or if you have a manually installed font, you can paste the CSS rule right into there. If that font that you're using isn't included. Generally, if this is turned off, this is importing the font from the theme. So you may not even need to use a custom font since it's already declared within the theme settings. We can adjust the font weight. So if we want to have it bold, we can adjust the font size, have it bigger, letter spacing. Again, all these things, if they've already been set in your theme, you may not have to adjust these if you want everything to stay consistent. You can also adjust the bottom margin to give a little bit more space between the title and the price. We have the same settings for mobile as well. Moving on, same idea for the product price. So we can turn that off if we'd like, and change and choose its color, custom font, font weight, margin top, which also gives us more spacing right over there. Or in case you don't have a title, you just want a price, it'll also help with that. You can adjust the font size and letter spacing. And same settings for mobile as well. Moving on, pop-up product compare price. So when there's a compare price, like here, then we can adjust that as well. If sometimes we want a slightly different color, or have it could be smaller, so we can adjust that right over there. And we have settings to adjust the button styling as well. So we can also turn it off if you like. And we have margin top, but this is actually just for mobile, because in mobile they're stacked. So you can adjust the spacing there for mobile specifically. So that's it with this with the pop-up. So let's just go back up here and turn off the preview so we can continue with other areas. Section styling. So this is styling for the entire section, like so. So we have an option to set the width, and let me just add in a color here, a background color, so it'll be better understood. So this is the entire section wherever we have this, wherever the color is covering. We have an option to set the regular a width regular and then give it a maximum width, so we can make that much smaller if we'd like that, or much bigger. Or we also have an option to set full width, so the background color actually extends to the very edges of the browser, but adjusting the maximum width still works on this on the carousel itself. So it doesn't have to go all the way to the edges, or you can have it align with other areas of your site. And the next option is real full width. So if we choose real full width basically ignores this maximum width and stretches everything to the very edges of the screen. So if I go to full screen, as you can see, it goes all the way to the very edges. And sometimes this is nice if I scroll all the way back up to the setting of overflow and move down to full screen, then it looks as though there's more coming outside of the browser. We'll take care of this little spacing here with padding in a moment. Let's see, where are we? There's a lot of settings, like I said. Here we are. Next, we have margins and padding. So margin is a space outside, so above and below. So you can move the section further away from a section before it, and of course after it if you want more space there. And padding is the space within. So if we adjust the padding, we have more space there, and if we want more space below, we can do that as well. And then horizontal padding is the spaces on the side. So if we want what we were trying to achieve before, you could just adjust it like that, and then you have that appearance that it's going all the way to the edges. We have the same options for mobile as well. Next, product media styling. So we have options to set the type of dimensions. So right now it's set to square, but we can also choose portrait, landscape, or original. And original, usually it just takes what we have, but sometimes we have different sizes and maybe we'd like a look where one is bigger, one is smaller. So you would choose original. If they're all the same size, then as you can see, original, and whether it's landscape or square, it'll all look the same. So let's just keep this right now at square, like so. Depending on the look of your site, we can also adjust the border radius. Next, we have the styling, like I mentioned before, for the carousel toggle. So right over here, so we can change the color of that. And the hover color as well. You can see we can either have an underline or not. Could choose the custom font if you'd like a different font. Font weight. We can also adjust and set the button to be center, left, or right. Adjust its font size. Letter spacing. And then margin top, we can lower that. Let's say it goes down a range between -50 and 50. So if we want it closer and more aligned to the product header, we could do something like that, and then give a little bit more space below it. And we have similar options on mobile. Next, we have product content styling. So that would be the section underneath each video. We can set it to be left aligned, right aligned, or center. And same with mobile view. We can choose not to show the product title if we want. We can choose an HTML element to set for the title. And this brings two benefits to have this option. One is for better SEO. Google or other search engines scan the site and they look for text that's labeled as more important, or there's a certain hierarchy of various headings, like this section title, or a main page title, and so on. And the hierarchy is from H1 to H6. So H1 would be the most important and most descriptive heading on a page, and usually that's reserved for a page title. And it's not recommended to use more than one of those in each on each page, and then the remainder is just a matter of importance. H2s are usually set for like section titles, and you can use as many as you want, and so on. The other benefit is that your theme also already has preset styling for these different heading types, so you can just choose that instead of going in and editing the size that you want it to be consistent with other elements of your site. You can just select it here like that. Next, you can also choose the product title, color, its font, like we described before, font weight, product title minimum height. I'm not sure we'll be able to see that here right now. Usually if this line, this title is very long and it goes down to 2 lines, if we don't set a minimum height, then things are going to be staggered, and let's say the buttons won't be aligned, since this is, let's say, 2 lines and here is only 1 line. So we have an option to set the minimum height, and as you can see, that just pushes all the buttons down and gives more room for more lines of text. So that really does depend on the length of your titles. Product top margin, so we can give more space between the image and the title. Bottom margin, so we can give more space I think this also depends on whether we're showing the price or not, so we'll get to that in a moment. Product title font size. So as you can see here, for instance, because I enlarge the font size, then we have sometimes 2 lines, sometimes 1 line. So we can go into here and set the minimum height, and then everything is aligned up correctly. And we have the same settings for mobile. We also have product line height, so we can adjust the line height like so. Moving on, product price. So right now it's been turned off, so we turn that back on, and then we have this the price right over here. And then, as you can see, we can adjust the bottom margin here, and it gives more space. But it's also a play between the minimum height. There we go. We have an option to show the from price if you have variants with different pricing. So we could do that, or we could just show it like this. And as you can see here, they have variants, but on this one they don't. So the from doesn't even appear. And you can change that text right over there if you'd like. You could change the price, the color of it, its font, and the same settings, top margin, bottom margin, font size, and letter spacing right over there, and mobile. And product compare, like we saw in the pop-up, if you're running a sale and there's a compare price set in the admin, then we can adjust the font size and its color right over here. So there'll be like a price with a strike through in it. And we have settings for the product button, which is right over here. So we can set a custom font. We can adjust the font weight, horizontal padding of the button, which makes it wider. Basically, it's the space between the text and the edge of the button. Vertical padding, we can make it taller if we want. Border width, so if we want a thicker border. Border radius. Margin top, so we can give more space if we want. Font size. And letter spacing as well. We have some options for mobile, and then we have the colors. So we can change the colors here around. Let's make a blue button. So we choose blue. Sorry, let's choose white and then a blue background, like that. And then let's say we don't want a border, so we just remove the color, just like that. And then we have the hover color. So right now, if we have a blue button, we hover over it, it becomes black. But we can choose the background, let's say, to be nothing, and the border to be blue, and the text to be blue. So if we hover over, then we can achieve this kind of effect. So those are all the settings that are going on here. I think I've covered everything. If you see, there's a flashing little button there that says keep playing for hover. Keep hovering for play. Sometimes if there's going to be a video that takes a little bit longer to load, then that message will be there that you have to keep the mouse there until it appears. Like that. And then back over to the section header, we can adjust the styling of this just like we adjusted different aspects. We have the HTML element for it. We have the text block for title and for the description over here. As you noticed, if you don't want a description, you could just remove it just like that. And let's just keep it for now. We can set the maximum width. If you have a really long description, then we can adjust so that, let's say if I take this and put in a long description, so we can adjust the maximum width as a percentage, like that. And then we have options for setting the title styling. So we can adjust the different colors of it, custom font, font size, margins, and everything we've covered already before. We can choose to have it left aligned within the maximum width that we've chosen. Same settings for mobile. And then we have the same, very similar settings for the text block itself for this one. So we can also make that left aligned if we want. Custom fonts, font size, margins, line height, letter spacing, and the same settings for the mobile version. And for section button, which is right over here, let's say we want to have more space, we want to adjust the colors. It's the same idea as we adjusted styling for the buttons over there. So, and we can also adjust the text that appears here and the link right over there. You can do alignment. So if we want to have it over on the left, usually it's usually placed in the center. Custom font and all the other stylings we already reviewed with the other button. So that's it. Thank you again. Hope that this section really helps you achieve your website goals and gives your website a little bit different functionality and look so that people can immediately see a video of the product in action before clicking into it or watching the video full and large. And of course, clicking on Shop Now takes them to the product page. If you have any questions or any difficulties, don't hesitate to reach out to us via the support page on our website. Thanks again.